Are you a fan of the Need for Speed franchise? If yes, then what is your favorite Need for Speed game and why? Do let me know down in the comments section and let's move on with Need for Speed Hot Pursuit. Originally released in 2010, this title was developed by Criterion Games, known for the Burnout series, and published by Electronic Arts. This title has already received a remaster in 2020, more about that later. The premise is really simple, an over the top cops versus racers romp. Criterion brought their fair share of Burnout formula into this title. Really cool to look at crashes, amazing takedowns just like the Burnout series. Driving, on the other hand, is not as arcadey as the Burnout series, but it is far from a simulator. All the vehicles control differently, and the driving mechanics are such that it's really easy to get into this title, but pretty challenging to actually master it. You get to play both as a cop and as a racer. Both the sides have a steady upgrade path, which is really cool. Playing as a cop involves taking down racers or completing a track without wrecking as fast as possible. The cops have stronger vehicles, but they are slightly slow. The racers are fast but not strong like the cops. Playing as a racer involves participating in various racing events and obviously outrunning the cops as much as possible and taking them out when necessary. Both the sides have some weapons available to them, like the EMP or the spike strips and the roadblocks and whatnot, and you get better versions of these as you progress through the game. Some weapons, on the other hand, are exclusive to a particular side. The event variety is actually pretty basic and kind of repetitive, racing against opponents, racing against the clock, or escaping the cops. But what makes it really special is the combat between the two sides. The hot pursuit is the heart of this title, and the environmental variety, as this title features an open world design, which is really cool to look at. This game is set in a fictional location known as the Seacrest County, which is based on the Southern California, Arizona, and Colorado. There is a ton of variety in this open world, from beaches to mountainous areas to forests and deserts and whatnot, which makes this game really enjoyable and keeps it from looking monotonous. And the size of this open world is pretty decent too, about 100 miles, which is pretty impressive for the time when this title came out way back in 2010. And then the cars. This game features an amazing roster of real-world licensed cars and SUVs, divided across several categories, and you are gonna be unlocking them as you progress through the game. Car models look great, and the engine sounds are just fantastic, and the overall sound design is amazing too. Most of the vehicles are available in both racer and police variants, which is really cool. The game also had an auto-lock feature which acted like a hub thing to track progress and share achievements and see what your friends were up to. Anyways, this title has aged really well, and the heartbeat of this title has to be the hot pursuit, the shunting and slamming and taking down your opponents, and being the cop and taking down the racers, and being the racer and trying to evade the cops. All that stuff is really cool and never gets old. But like I said, this game has already been remastered. The remastered version features better visuals like improved textures, better reflections and draw distance and stuff like that, along with all the DLCs, which is a really good deal. And then it also has cross-platform multiplayer, like users from PC, Switch, Xbox and PlayStation can compete against each other in the multiplayer mode, which is also really impressive. But yeah, the OG version still also looks pretty good. It has aged really well. So yeah, depending upon the specs of your system or the console you have, you can go with either of them, as they are both pretty much the same except for the graphics, which are slightly enhanced on the remastered version. And then if you ask about the negatives, there are actually no major drawbacks of this title, but if you really have to nitpick, then there is no cockpit view and there is no customization as well. You can only change the paint of your vehicle and that is pretty much it. But these things, they do not end up hurting this title in any way. It's an amazing title and totally worth your time if you love good racing games. It is definitely not as good looking as any of the current generation racing titles, not even the remaster is. But if you don't compare it to the current gen games, it's a really neat looking game and it performs really well. And yeah, the handling is fantastic, it's really snappy, the cars, they look amazing, the crashes look awesome, the takedowns are really entertaining. Overall, it's a very enjoyable package and totally worth your time, like I said before. And if you love racing games, you should definitely check out the video I made on the game Blur. So that was pretty much it, and thank you very much for watching. Peace out.